Hi guys, it is time for my monthly, basically is your ex coming back. It is usually due end of the first week each month. So this is our November and the first week of December. These are actually the cards from a different deck. I actually do have exactly the same cards in this deck, and I have developed this spread that I called Cat Tarot Knows or X spread, but it also can apply to actually current on and off relationships and sometimes tricky relationships. When I do the private reading, if you're in a relationship, I kind of like use this King of Wands versus Knight of Wands, and I use generic Queen of Wands and Knight of Wands for a reason. So I'm going to spend just a minute to explain this category. So don't start telling me, oh, you're having the same in the same video. Yes, I actually do, because these are just titles of the book that I want to figure out for each sign what's happening this particular month. So the very first category, the Magician. The Magician is the creator, right? This category number one is a starter category. Is this relationship a starter? You know that maybe you want it, but sometimes just circumstances or people are against us. Maybe, you know, we live in different cities. Maybe, you know, temptation is just too much. Maybe family is against it. Maybe we just never find time to see each other. That this is all going to show up in this category. So even if this says you guys are good to go and you will have a happy relationship, if you don't see each other, it just simply kind of like fade away. So this is kind of relationship that's going, this is kind of category that's going to explore that. Then I have here Temperance reversed. And it's purposely reversed because in the upright position, Temperance is talking about patience, and for every relationship we need patience, even though they're selling us and they fell in love and that kind of stuff. Okay, let me be a little bit skeptical about that, right? It happens to all of us. We all crave that, but we do know that something that kind of like turns into flame really quickly also really quickly kind of like fades away. So Temperance talks about merging two very different liquids together, talks about alchemists, talks about seeing this vision for these two people creating their own kingdom, right? The angel. Now, when Temperance is reversed, something is not gelling. Something is not right. Either it's not the right person, or it's not the right time, or it's not the right place, or just not the right circumstances. So these two categories, as you can see, are very important and they are circumstantial. Then it's going to be about you and about your partner, whether you are in a relationship or not. Even though Queen of Wands generally talks about fire signs and King of Wands talk about fire signs, in this particular readings, I am just dedicating this to be you. Why? Because if we have any issues in a relationship, we always have to take a few steps back, sometimes all the way back to dating, sometimes kind of like really figuring out, okay, so what do I want to do and how do I really want to, you know, seduce this person all over again. I want him to see me with fresh eyes, or I want her to see me as powerful and important. So hence we kind of take on this role of Queen of Wands for ladies, or role of Knight of Wands, or King of Wands for gentlemen. So King of Wands is slower than Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is the one who will chase you and eventually is going to settle in for King of Wands. So that's kind of the difference. And Eight of Wands is generally love arrows and communication and the energy card, right? It goes literally, you can see the arrows of love flying in this direction. So I really want to see what's happening here. Is this combination proper? Because sometimes we read into things that other persons say and we create our own reality, or maybe this reality doesn't exist. So it's just going to here tell me in this category what the partner thinks about you or what she thinks about you. And here, kind of like how is this communication flowing, if at all. Now this is my karma card. I have 4 karma cards. The karmic cards that I designate as karmic cards are Judgment, Justice, Ace of Swords, and Wheel of Fortune. There is a reason for all of them. In this particular card, it's kind of really important for me to see kind of like the emotions from the past that are currently kind of like being looked upon. So this is simply just, again, if you're getting blessings in this relationship, if things from the above looked upon kind of like are favorable, it's kind of like it's not really your will, but it is something that basically depends on kind of like really higher level of thinking. And this card, for Wands, which is my relationship, next level, long term, going to the next stage card, is going to tell me about the quality of your relationship. So this is kind of in short description. So hopefully you listen through it, because now I'm going to just jump in and I'm going to just roll out the cards and we can go with that. Okay, so talk to you soon. Hi Leo, let's see what November brings to you in terms of your relationships. And let me just preface this reading with, this is a general reading, meaning maybe everything and maybe just tidbits will resonate with you, because there are like many people, different energies. To really see your own situation, please order your own personal X reading. This is still on the special for $50. You can check it on my site, www.cattarot.ca. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Well, the first opening is pretty cool. 9 of Cups. I'm looking here the first 10 days from this reading, or from the time that you actually jump and view this, because you kind of get attracted to things when is the right time. You know, when they say, when you're ready, the teacher will appear. This is really the card that is saying you really have to learn how to be emotionally content, how to really look back at your successes. We in the society are being really trained that our successes and everything depends on the outside. And as marketing being one of my businesses, I can really tell you, and I'm not the kind of marketer that I am going to do that harm, but this is exactly kind of like something that affects self-confidence. And this is saying, listen guys, you have to kind of acknowledge that you're fully self-sufficient and that you can actually have issues and things that are going to be really cool and you can really enjoy them on your own. And this is the first card that is coming out here, asking you to kind of like pull yourself in and see what makes you happy. The Temperance reversed, so let's see what needs to be glued. The Hangman reversed. This is generally a card that talks about kind of self-imposed punishment. As you can see, he is kind of like tied to something that maybe he needs to resolve. He is kind of like stunned with maybe events that took place, but does he appear to you unhappy? Not to me. There is obviously aura of something really happening here. So the Hangman is usually telling us do nothing, just observe and look at how things are going, but also start thinking in how you impacted this entire situation and how is situation impacting you, sort of proverbial looking from the other person's perspective. Now when this is reversed and this is falling in your category of what needs repair, means that maybe you're missing a message of learning over here. You kind of have to really think and spend a few moments thinking, and even if it is, you know, 95% you're right and 5% they're right, look in this 5% that maybe you can improve. This is just simply for you to kind of make yourself a better person. Let's see how you're seen. Wow, you're seen as a mother, as somebody gentle, as somebody giving, and somebody caring. Queen of Cups also has a little bit of naive, especially, you know, to me, an air sign. Like when I see somebody who is just, oh, look at this, you know, baby. Oh, look at this. Mind you, I turn to be that way when I see a cat. Every cat is just like simply distracting me. But this is somebody who is genuinely nice. And we all get our wounds in a society the older we get. And Queen of Cups is loving children, as I said, loving animals. She just literally wants to help everybody. She's like having this huge cup of emotion. But look at that. Do you see this? This is the only card where a cup is contained, right? And it is contained because she is very discriminatory to whom she can give it to, because she has this like really soft underbelly, right? So let's see the communication between the two of you. Wow, lots of barbs, lots of miscommunication, maybe positioning, maybe setting boundaries. Maybe somebody wants something you cannot give and they're kind of pushing you into that. Maybe they're taking advantage of your generosity. So stand your ground, and that's maybe the lesson that has to be learned. You have to observe how other people react and kind of like take a lesson from there. Wow, that person that you are wondering about knew, you know, when you come to the crossroads of life and there is a wrong decision and right decision. Let's say paying taxes, and let's say you don't pay taxes, and it kind of seems to be, oh, so cool, I have so much extra money in my pocket. Then you go out and use roads. Then you go out, okay, in Canada we have a medical service that is paid from taxes. Then you go and get other shared services such as fire or a police that is there to protect you. Well, you cannot have both ways. And this is saying that you are purposely taking the wrong path. Somebody knows what is right, what is wrong, and they're still pushing themselves or pushing even you to do the wrong thing or to do the thing that is convenient for them with disregard to how you feel about that. So let's see what is karma. And this is my karma card, and saying it's reverse, saying the past, again, the two cards, and I think this might be also referring to them. The past actions are now culminating and they are being judged, and they're trying to kind of distract you. Oh, look at the squirrel there, right? So let's see what is karma saying about that. Karma is saying that this situation has shadows, meaning not everything is exactly as it seems, and maybe you have already detected few things that are kind of coming through, but not everything is still, or yet, better to say, out in the open. This person is really maybe a little shady person, right? Keep that in mind. And lastly, this is, guys, you. This is one of the three cards. See, like the Magician, but this is just simply a title card. We have this infinity sign, and the third card would be Two of Pentacles. That would talk about taming the beast in you. And here, somebody is still being really rough about the situation. There is a lack of commitment. Things are either somebody's just too weak, maybe one party is too weak, another party is too harsh. It's kind of like certain things kind of polarized. And this is what happens when we get to the tricky issue. And then one party kind of like, you know, like you have the status quo, right, where you don't know how to proceed because neither of the parties really want to compromise. But it looks like here, and I would say this is your partner, is really, really more than willing to do something just to serve themselves. So let's see the second 10 days, which would be, I guess, from the 15th to the 25th, or any other second 10 days from the time of your reading. Wow, we have another 5 here, and this is not a good 5. It could be 3 people in this party. The third person you really don't want here. And you see, look at the smuggy little face. You think that in a relationship somebody looking at you would bring you or anybody winning points? It just speaks about some kind of like shadiness. These are swords. This could be like really words that hurt, and somebody trying to declare victory over others. But look at this, these creatures here, they don't look too happy. They did lie down swords and say, okay, fine, you win. But it doesn't mean that these people are going to come back and pay their dues to this person. In fact, this card being reversed is saying everybody loses in this game. Whenever one person pulls this card, I mean, I'm not talking literally about me pulling this card. I'm talking figuratively in life. Whenever you try to dominate somebody in a relationship, like we had this kind of like very old-fashioned marriages for centuries where we had these roles, like he's telling her what to do, she's just a procreation machine. That really didn't work, didn't it? And this is one of those situations when you really harm somebody's soul by tearing into them, or somebody wants to up you on all the time, putting you down. And this is coming up in the toolbox. So, and that's why I see here, look, somebody can really tear you down. And unless you're happy with yourself, unless you know your own value, this can really, really hurt. And that's why possible this call for. So let's see what else needs to repair. Here we go. There is another infinity card here. So this is giving me a message, and both of them are sort of like calling for looking into that. Saying that life gets in the way, saying that there are lots of balls in the air over here. Somebody might be juggling with another person, and it looks like if you're still communicating with this person, which it looks like you do, but it's kind of like really really like situation where you're losing the game, but not for any other reason than from them being basically jerks. This is saying that you'll possibly draw the line and saying, this, sorry, this doesn't work for me and I want this to stop. So in the second 10 days, you're going to be seen as the devil. Well, in a sense, generally I tell people, wait a minute, this is codependency, this is needy card, and you cannot tear this chains down. But you see, tarot cards change depending on the entire kind of view of the card. So here, if you're seen as the devil and they're trying to pull this on you, that means that you actually do have power over them. Maybe you didn't realize that. First of all, they are very attracted to you. Second of all, they think somehow they can force themselves on you and enslave you. So attributing you this the devil card is almost good right now. That tells me you guys have powers over them, and they're really trying to push into some kind of bad decision. So that's the only thing I would really be aware. And also this is asking you, do you don't want to be with this person? Really? Like this person who has somebody else on the side, and this person who is like trying to minimize you? Think about it. Communication, there is still kind of like soft tender feelings. Maybe from the beginning of dating, maybe you know this person for quite a while. This could be also conversation about children, could be conversation about innocence, right? Kind of interesting because both of them have these flavors, different sides of a coin. One, you are a bad person. You know, like this is called gaslighting, when the person who actually does harm is pushing you and saying you are the bad one, and it's like literally distraction from their own basically bad activity. And maybe calling for, oh, remember when we were this, and each time when they're not winning the argument, they try to sidetrack. So be very careful not to be sucked into this kind of environment. And nobody's good or bad entirely. And so it's kind of nice to kind of think about this person in a positive way. I kind of support this, but do not romanticize them, because I see this person needs to kind of literally grow up. Then we have the death card here reversed. So this person is actually going through some kind of suffering of their own. Look at this combination, really not a good combination. Something will be happening from the 15th to the 25th, guys. Something pretty crucial. And it's going to be a combination of things where actually you do have an upper hand, but they're doing lots of things as expression of their either sadness or anger. There's something that had to finish that is still ongoing, right? If you leave a dead body in a room, it's going to start to stink and it's going to really harm you. And this is what it looks like. There are lots of things that surfaced, and they're really trying to kind of like really cover up their act. Yep, there is like this something about marriage, but again, the Strength and the Sun, both your cards reversed. if you guys are married or if you're temporarily separated, you are actually not inclined to say, you know, I don't feel comfortable. Look at this. You have the moon and the sun. The entire cycle is suffering, and this person is not in a good space at all. It looks like that everything they do seems to be a disaster. You know, yes, they do come across as people who are very controlling, but at this stage I see them as that animal in a corner that is really fighting and scared, even though you're trying to help them. This is actually a good card reversed. In the up position, and 5s and 7s are, here's my mini lion. Come on, Safi. Mini lion. You want to say hi? No, she's chasing Matrix. Safi. So this talks about sneaking, thieving, taking away things, just me kind of things. But this talks about, you know, when you get that complete clarity. See, the sun would mean also clarity in marriage and children in the upright situation. Almost like this person wants it on their terms. They don't want to commit. They just want, you know, they just want everything good on their side and everything bad on your side, and take advantage of your nature. Be careful. And you're going to get it. This is like closure. This is clarity. This could be even explanation, or even saying I am sorry. At the very least, you're going to say, you know, this is just not, you're literally going to see the way I see it right now. It's going to be complete clarity. And let's see what's happening here in the last 10 days. That will be from the 25th to about the 7th of December, or whatever the last 10 days in this 30-day period that you join in. So it is this overall feeling of fear, and you see this kind of relates to the Strength card, and somebody doesn't want to move forward. Somebody doesn't want to kind of draw the line here. They're like still this ongoing game. Somebody's being pushed into a situation where there's like not much to do. Kind of like the suggestion here is like, just take this blindfold off and just kind of deal with the issues, right? What needs to be remedied is like day-to-day issues with this person just are not rolling. So people think about this big picture in love. For something to really exist, the big picture is great, but never mind, unless you kind of know that you can coexist with this person day to day, that you're not going to argue ever over some small things such as negotiating for the bathroom time or drawer time, stuff like that. This card is telling me that kind of like there is like no education element, like meaning educating each other about what you really do on a daily level. There is a second karma card. You see, for them, they got the Judgment reverse, but for you, and you are here, you're getting Wheel of Fortune in the upright. So you're actually going in the next cycle, and it's going to be a happy cycle. It's going to be really good. Just don't depend on luck. And look, we have a Page of Wands here, which can talk about children as well, just like here. But it's basically some message is not hitting home. And I keep seeing that actually both parties are not getting the message. There's like complete miscommunication. Somehow everybody wants their needs met, and there's like no sitting down and say, these are my needs, can you do it, check, 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 or if you can't, I gotta go. Just like almost like thinking somehow things will magically resolve. So how they see it, they do see you as beautiful, they do see you as attractive, they do see you as their mate, but at the same time they also are not seeing you really deeply how you really are. They kind of take advantage of your kindness, but they kind of like really consider you to be a trophy. And karma is saying, yep, look at this, you have actually lots of people. This could be also another person that is involved, which we see it somewhere else. This is my wife card. Who is the wife here? Are you guys a wife? Because look at this person is dealing with two people. One is sort of like that marriage where they're not committing, which is kind of bizarre because they're not committing in the official kind of person, and maybe they have 2 girlfriends or 2 boyfriends. And again, this goes back to this judgment. They are dancing the tune, and they want everything just good happen to them. So keep thriving on this clarity. And yeah, look at the 7 on 7, and the Chariot talks about, okay, wait a minute, you know, I need to dust off. Yes, I have been through things, and the things have been tough and rough, but you know, now I have to unite maybe 2 sides of my personality that we can see here clearly, and it's some kind of like polarization, and you need to kind of like unite in order to move forward. This is the really key, that one, it can happen, you guys might come back, but there's going to be a huge discussion, and unless you unite and get on the same page, that's not going to work, guys. There are lots of issues here, and you really have to take in account this person is angry, this person is judgmental, and this person is really very shadowy. And unless you really put your foot down, and if they start calling you names and trying to push you into kind of like you doing things their way, that's red flag, red flag, red flag. So my dear Leos, this is a general reading, and this doesn't have to be your situation, as I said in the beginning. So to get your private reading, contact me at www.cattarot.ca. Until the next time, I love you.